Hey guys, we're back for another week of the A game. App State football opened Sunbelt Conference play as they took on the Jaguars of South Alabama this past Saturday.
Stay tuned as we bring you a recap of this week in App State sports. Stephen Jones of the football team was named Sunbelt Special Teams Player of the Week with 2 blocked punts in the game against Gardner-Webb. Reed Honeycutt from the men's soccer team was named Sunbelt's Offensive Player of the Week for his game-winning goal against UNCG.
Kat Greer of the women's soccer team was named Sunbelt's Offensive Player of the Week from a 3-goal streak in just 2 games. Mountaineer Spotlight host Jay Boyd sat down with Jordan Fehr about the season so far and what we can expect from the team in the future. Stick around also for our Player of the Week. I'm Gray Salter.
And I'm Austen Lopp, and this is the A Game.
App State football opened Sunbelt Conference play at home with a big win over the Jaguars of South Alabama. The black and gold defense came out strong and shut down any offensive momentum the Jaguars had. The Mountaineers also held South Alabama to only 7 points. In Austin, Zach Thomas had a decent performance on Saturday, but did struggle a little bit more than we've seen him so far this season. They were taking on South Alabama, so you do expect the competition level to rise a bit with Sunbelt play kicking off. But 8 for 18, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns, so a solid game, but did tack on 2 interceptions to that. So definitely some work to be done in practice to kind of improve that. But considering his season as a whole, Zach Thomas is playing some of the best football we've seen here at Appalachian State University, ranking number 1 in the FBS in total QBR for the season at 99.3. So pretty much outmatching any quarterback in the league when it comes to the numbers that he's putting up. And we here at the A Game on App TV, we want to promote a hashtag. We want him to make a push for this Heisman Trophy this year. Hashtag Thomas for Heisman. Use it on Twitter, use it on Instagram, wherever you want. We want this guy to be getting looks.
Definitely deserves it. Just a sophomore blowing up the FBS. Why not? Give it to him.
Absolutely. He also tacked on 2 rushing touchdowns this Saturday. And Austin, the rushing game was really looking good for the Mountaineers.
Oh, yeah. The rushing game for the Mountaineers was on fire this week. Team totals of 46 carries, 348 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Jalen Moore with 123 yards. Zach Thomas with 77, including that 54-yard run for a touchdown. But not just the offense really here that was explosive. The defense, more than any, was more explosive.
And the defense had the number of their opposition on Saturday, allowing only 308 yards of offense. That's less than Appalachian State put up just on the ground, and only allowed 1 touchdown against them. Forced 9 punts, which is something that is pretty commendable. I mean, they are really playing good defense right now. Tay Hayes, a part of that Legion of Boone, getting an interception, as well as Clifton Duck playing really well, getting several tackles, especially up close to the line of scrimmage on Saturday. Had one of the biggest hits we've seen from Mountaineer football this season. Absolutely destroyed a defender, and it was a thing of beauty.
It was tough. I saw that on several Snapchat stories several times. Very, very ugly. But another big part here, which we keep having to talk about, is the special teams continues to be red hot. 3 field goal blocks in 2 games with 86 total yards in return game as well. That's definitely impressive, and it really brings it all around for the Mountaineers and makes them a core, strong team with offense, defense, and special teams being able to produce.
People don't realize how important special teams is and how much momentum they can provide from you transitioning from offense to defense or vice versa, defense to offense. But the Mountaineers, with all this good play, a lot of people wondering, can they make that push for the top 25? They took on Penn State, took them to overtime. Penn State really has only been challenged by Ohio State this past Saturday, other than Appalachian State this season. One of the best and most complete teams in the country. One of the reasons the Mountaineers haven't really gotten many looks for the top 25 thus far is their strength of schedule, because after Penn State, they haven't really had a true test, but they've also shown that they've been much better than those teams, pretty much dominating on all fronts. None of the games.
56 points a game, I think, was what the.
I mean,
that's
never
impressive.
even really close when it comes to the margin of victory for the Mountaineers since that Penn State game. Appalachian State has a 27.9% chance to win out for the rest of the season. That's the 4th highest in the country. So their strength of schedule isn't super grand or anything, but the Mountaineers still showing with their performances that maybe they do deserve that push for the top 25.
Sure. Yep.
The Mountaineers go on the road to play the Arkansas State Red Wolves on Tuesday, October 9th.
It seems every year that the same question is asked: what is in the water in Boone, North Carolina? It all started in 2007 when the Mountaineers upset Michigan at the Big House, earning the title of biggest sports upset in history by many, and breaking the mold of what a cakewalk opening game should be. Time and time again, the Apps have shown up in big games that most would be forgiven for writing off as a blowout and competed at a shocking level. This leads me to the question: should Appalachian State be promoted to a Power 5 conference? Every year, App fans and players pretend their way through an unfulfilling rivalry with Georgia Southern, a competition that the Mountaineers have gone undefeated in since joining the Sun Belt, followed by a late season of abysmal conference matchups that the Apps walk through with ease. In the 3 years that Appalachian State has been in the FBS, the Mountaineers have won 2 conference titles and all 3 of their bowl games, including the 34-0 blowout over Toledo in last year's Dollar General Bowl, completing what many call the best FCS to FBS transition in college football history. Each year, it becomes more and more apparent that the Mountaineers are simply on another level than the rest of the Sun Belt, outscoring the conference 618 to 259 during its short tenure in the Sun Belt. The question you might be asking then is, what would a potential landing spot be for the Mountaineers? The SEC might seem a little bit too competitive, and the ACC has made it clear that they have no interest in adding a 6th team from the Carolinas to their lineup, following ECU's inquisition into membership in 2015. Obviously, Appalachian State wouldn't become a playoff contender right from the beginning when they entered a Power 5 conference. But to believe that the Mountaineers couldn't consistently compete with lower and mid-level teams in these conferences is naive, obtuse, and I won't hear it. There are multiple examples of the capabilities the Mountaineers have to win these games. Take the double overtime loss to Tennessee in 2016, where a missed field goal in the final seconds of regulation could have seen the Mountaineers victorious. Or the 7 points left on the field by kicker Michael Rubino in last year's matchup against Wake Forest that led to a 2019 defeat of the Mountaineers. With a new kicker in place to avoid any late game blunders, as well as a stud quarterback in Zach Thomas, who has the highest quarterback rating in the FBS, the Mountaineers are now more competitive than they have ever been. The biggest change that would have to happen is the Mountaineers have to start winning some of these matchups against big-name schools. The overtime loss at Penn State pushes the Apps to 0-11 against Power 5 opponents since the upset of Michigan, with an average score margin of 41-14 during those matchups. The Mountaineers would be in for the beginning of a tough transition, but a much well-deserved new beginning outside of an uncompetitive Sun Belt. And with a promising, young, talented team, the hopes of a New Year's Six Bowl at the end of this season, and 2 Power 5 matchups next season, the stage is set for the Mountaineers to start their campaign for promotion into an esteemed Power 5 conference.
Coming up next, Mountaineer Spotlight host Jay Boyd sat down with Jordan Fehr.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Mountaineer Spotlight host Jay Boyd sat down with Jordan Fehr about the season so far and how the Mountaineers are preparing for the future.
Jay Boyd here with junior linebacker Jordan Fehr for Mountaineer Spotlight. You guys are rolling right now.
Yeah.
You looking forward most to in the Sun Belt?
We open up with South Alabama this week, first game of Sun Belt play. So once conference comes, really ramps up. So we're excited. Back-to-back champions, but this year's a little different. So we got 2 divisions, and now we'll have a true champion. So it'll be nice to really get the ball rolling in conference. And we say RingQuest every year, so we got to believe in the fact that we got to get a Sun Belt championship, and that starts this Saturday.
they're a pretty fast team, but they get their run game out of 3 different positions. They use their receivers, their quarterbacks, and their running backs. What are you guys doing to prepare for that?
Yeah, so we had a great game plan in. They do a lot of different things to get the guys the ball, a lot of motions, a lot of jets, a lot of orbits, a lot of different things, a lot of eye candy to make you want to look, but they're doing a lot of power, a lot of read, a lot of option, a lot of basic stuff that we've seen before that we just need to play our game plan, play the fundamentals, read our keys, and we'll be fine. But they're big up front. They got a good quarterback, and they got athletes all around. So we just got to play our game, and we'll be good.
What do you guys do to change your mindset at the beginning of each week? Every week there's a different team, there's a different opponent. The offense is always changed. What are you doing to change that mindset?
Yeah, so the big thing is after Saturday, win or loss, Sunday we come in, watch the film, learn from mistakes, Sunday corrections. Then you got to change your mindset because each week it's a different offense. So something we did last week, game plan changes, might do it differently this week. So each week you have to have a renewed mindset, forget about last week, no matter if it was a big win or a hard loss, and just move on and look forward to the next game.
You guys have a new defensive coordinator this year, and Brian Brown. How has that transition been?
Coach Brown's awesome. It was a smooth transition. Obviously, he came from with an app. So same defense. He's a great guy. He makes you really want to play for him. He brings great energy every day, and we really enjoy playing for him. He's doing a great job so far.
Other than Myquan Stout and Floyd back there in the linebacker position, you guys' front seven looks pretty different this year. What are you guys doing to fill those holes from last year?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we had a lot of older guys leave, but it's always good because we got to learn from them. So for 2 years, I learned under Boggs, who's a great linebacker here, and just be able to try to step up and fill his role is a big deal because you got big shoes to fill across a lot of guys that left are big shoes to fill, and I think we've done a good job so far. But being a young defense is great because we continue to grow every day. We're inexperienced at some positions, but I mean we're continuing to get better each and every day. We work well as a unit, so I mean having Stout and Flo as leaders on our defense is great for us to especially learn from. So like next year when we all have another year under our belt, it'll be the same thing, just keeping that tradition, defensive legacy going on every year.
You played in some pretty big spots. You played at Miami here your freshman year, last year at UGA, and then this year you started at Penn State. How do those 3 environments compare to each other?
Well, really 4. Tennessee. I played Tennessee my freshman year as well. So those 4 were unforgettable. I mean, Neyland, you'll never forget it. Georgia, Penn State, the big atmospheres are awesome, but being a part of a historic game against Miami and then broke the record again the year after that against Wake Forest, it's just what you dream of. It's why you come to a school like this, and App State has such a great tradition and reputation that we can play with the big dogs. To be able to be in those games and contribute is what it's all about. It's why you work so hard. It's why you come to a school like App State. So those memories are going to be unforgettable.
You talked about memories. What's your favorite memory from your 3 years so far?
Favorite memory so far? Oh, man. Trying to think. I think the most special, even though it was the hardest on me, was this past Penn State game. I mean, it was my first start, so I mean, it was a big deal. But just to show, because a lot of people doubted us this year, so a lot of people weren't even expecting us to be anything. We got a lot of young guys in new positions, and to be in the middle of the defense for all the way through overtime, to be a part of that really helped me grow as a player, helped us grow as a team too, because it opened everyone's eyes that we can play with anyone. And it was just something I'll never forget. A lot of things to learn from, but also a lot of great highlights. And that was just a really special game in my 3 years here so far.
You guys played a fantastic game on both sides of the ball. What types of goals have you guys set up at defense this year? Yeah,
so we have set goals. We got 10, 12 goals every game that we try to check off, all the way from like no penalties, holding them under 130 rushing yards, 160 passing yards, stuff like that. Have it at least 1.5 turnovers a game, stuff like that. We try to go through on Sundays and see how many we checked off. So we have a lot of our big goal is to run the ball. Do our job. That's our biggest thing. Do our job, run the ball, play with great physicality and effort. And that's as a goal as a defense. If we can do those basic things, have good eyes, and play hard, those are our main goals.
Football is the type of sport where you have to have a different mentality than you do just walking down the street. What types of things do you do to put yourself in that football mindset on Saturdays?
It's different. When I'm off the field, I'm definitely a different person when I'm on the field, and that's most of us. A lot of us are involved with school activities and are great guys off the field. But once you get on the field, it's a term called flipping the switch. You really got to flip the switch, and you just got to get in that mindset that no one can beat us. You got to play harder than we ever have, and just do everything we can to get the victory. You know, I mean, football, you've been playing it since you were little. It's a hard game. It's a fun game. It's a physical game. So, I mean, every football player just has that football mindset is what people call it. So it's one that's instilled in all of us.
Your dad played college baseball. Was he one of the guys that was instrumental in you coming to play ball here?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my dad was a big influence in my life. My parents split when I was 5, so both sets of my parents, my mom and my stepdad, and my dad and my stepmom, both influenced me greatly when growing up, helping me. They all knew what it took to get here. My stepdad was a college athlete as well, so I mean, it was a big deal. So like, they knew if you want to get to college ball, you got to start at a young age. Working, I wouldn't go play with my friends. I'd go work out. You know, I would do everything I can to going up through high school, dealing with recruiting, all that stuff. They were a huge factor in having me look at the big picture and having me choose what school is best for me.
You played a game at UNCC a couple of weeks past, and you played high school ball in Charlotte. So how was that for you guys?
Oh, it was awesome. To be able to go home and have a win like that in Charlotte was awesome. I lived 20, 25 minutes down the road. I played at Providence, so I had a lot of teammates I played with that came out, younger guys that were still on the team, and to be able to just play in our home fans, it was great because really it was a App State environment, you know, so I just spoke and attested to our fan base, and it was just a great experience overall to be able to go back home, see a lot of family and friends, and to get a good win.
What are you guys looking most forward to in the Sun Belt season?
Our goal is a conference championship. You know, we want to be champions. We got 2 banners up right now, trying to get back-to-back-to-back. So, I mean, that's our one goal, but we got to take it a game at a time, and it starts on Saturday.
Well, you guys are doing pretty good. Thank you for coming out.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Jay Board,
Thank
Mountaineer
you.
Spotlight. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Jay. Coming up next on the A Game, we will give you coverage of the basketball team gearing up for their season, along with soccer, volleyball, and field hockey. Stay with us.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
The men's basketball team opened the 2018-19 season on Wednesday with the first official practice. The practice highlighted work in multiple areas on offense and on defense. The Mountaineers brought energy and intensity to practice to mark the beginning of a new season. App State welcomes back a lot of depth with 13 returners from last season. Of the returners, Ronchad Shabazz will be back in the lineup for the Mountaineers. He became the 5th player in program history to score over 600 points and became the first Mountaineer to post 100 or more assists in one season since the 2010 year. And the next several weeks, the Black and Gold will continue to work hard through October, ahead of an exhibition game against Ferrum on November 1st at 7 p.m. in the Holmes Convocation Center, before the first official tip of the season with a home game on November 6th at 7 p.m. versus Mars Hill.
The Appalachian State volleyball team posted its 5th consecutive victory, sweeping Louisiana Monroe on Friday evening inside the Holmes Convocation Center. The Mountaineers are now 11-4 on the season and moved to 3-0 in Sun Belt play. The 5-match streak is the longest for App State since the 2015 season. The Black and Gold dominated offensively in the match. Emma Longley had 13 kills and 7 digs, and Melissa McMath added 10 kills herself. Kara Spicer had 9 kills with 4 blocks, and Lexi Cahut had 8 kills as well. App State finished the match against ULM with 48 kills and limited the Warhawks to a .082 hitting mark in the match. The Mountaineers earned their 6th straight victory on Sunday when Louisiana came to the Holmes Center. The Mountaineers rallied back from a 2-0 set deficit to take the match 3-2 against the Raging Cajuns. The Mountaineers broke a 3-match losing streak to Louisiana in that game. App State is now 4-0 to begin Sun Belt Conference play for the first time since the 2015 season and is just one of 3 teams in the league that are undefeated in conference play. The Black and Gold found themselves down 2-0 after Louisiana rallied late to win the first set 25-22 before grabbing the second set 26-24. In the third set, App State had a 4-1 streak midway through the set, with kills coming from Melissa McMath and Victoria Wilform to lead 15-8. Louisiana pulled to within 4 at 23-19, but kills from Becky Porter and McMath sealed the set win for the Mountaineers. In the fourth, Louisiana took the lead early, but with the Black and Gold responding an 8-1 run to take an 11-6 lead. App State held the lead for the remainder of the set, and a kill from McMath clinched the fourth set. The Ragin' Cajuns had an early 6-2 lead in the deciding fifth set. The Mountaineers recorded 11 of the next 12 points, with 2 service aces from Kara Spicer to open a 13-7 lead. Leading 14-9, Emma Riley sealed the win with 1 kill in the match. The Black and Gold finished the match with 70 kills, the third time this season they have recorded at least 70 kills in a match. Appalachian State will look to keep its perfect Sun Belt Conference record on Friday at 6:30 p.m. against Little Rock in Varsity Gym on campus.
Appalachian State University women's soccer is having its best start in Sun Belt play since joining the conference. After a 2-0 win over Coastal Carolina on Sunday afternoon at Ted Mackerel Soccer Complex, the Black and Gold are now 3-0 in Sun Belt play. The Mountaineers were on the board early with an assist from Jessica Easley to Blair Anders in the box, and the senior fired the shot for her 3rd goal of the season and a 1-0 edge for the Mountaineers. Maggie Hanusek delivered a cross in the box to Jessica Peters. Peters sent the shot in the left side of the net for her first collegiate goal and pushed the App State lead to 2-0. The Black and Gold held the lead till the end. App State will try and stay perfect in Sun Belt play next Friday when they host Texas State at 7 p.m.
The men's soccer team faced a strong High Point team on Tuesday evening, but the Mountaineers fell to the Panthers 2-0 at Vert Stadium. The Black and Gold went up against a High Point University team that came into the week ranked 29th in the country and had also outscored its previous 2 opponents 5-1. The Mountaineers outshot High Point 10-9, but HPU held a 4-2 edge in shots on goal. Appalachian posted a 5-3 advantage in corner kicks. HPU took the lead in the first half from a penalty kick by Ilias Cosmitis that gave the Panthers a 1-0 lead. The Black and Gold had 2 shots, but none were on target. In the second half, App State had an 8-5 shot edge over HPU and 2 shots on goal, but Keegan Meyer stopped both attempts to keep the Mountaineers scoreless. The Panthers' second and final goal came in the 48th minute. App State bounced back after the HPU game with a 3-0 road win over George Mason on Saturday evening. With this win, App State has passed last season's win total while earning their first win over the Patriots. Zyko Harris had his first career multi-score game, scoring 2 goals. Aldo Tarantini notched his first career collegiate goal, becoming the 4th freshman for App State to score this season. Jake Chasteen had his conference-leading 4th clean sheet of the year with 3 stops in 90 minutes. After the win, the Boone natives' goal against average is now a .75, the second lowest in the Sun Belt. App State will start Sun Belt Conference play next Saturday at 7 p.m. against Georgia State here in Boone.
The App State field hockey team dropped the match at Adcock Field 1-0 to the Ball State Cardinals on Friday evening. Redshirt freshman goalkeeper Madison Knuckles made her first career start in goal for the Mountaineers. She made 4 stops. Freshman Brenna Schoenbachler had a second career defensive save, helping Knuckles keep her clean sheet until overtime. The defensive struggle for the Black and Gold only produced 13 total shots in regulation. Junior Allie Williams led the Mountaineers with 2 shots on goal, one of which was on target. The field hockey team returned to action Sunday and dropped the contest 8-0 at home against number 4 in the country Duke Blue Devils. An intense Blue Devils team came into the game Sunday with an 8-3 record with 7 wins over ranked opponents. The Sunday victory at Adcock Field for Duke is the 6th victory in 7 games, including 3 wins over top 15 opponents. Verl Van Hertum led the Black and Gold with 2 shots on goal, one of which was on target. Junior Melissa Nobile also recorded a shot on target in the second half. The Blue Devils' Olivia Sahayadek recorded a hat trick in Duke's 8-0 victory. The Mountaineers will close its season-long homestand on Friday against St. Francis at 7 p.m.
And now, Austin, it's time for our Player of the Week, and several Mountaineers played exceptionally well this weekend, but our Player of the Week is none other than running back Jalen Moore. This week, Moore totaled 123 yards on 19 carries, averaging almost 7 yards a touch. He also found the end zone twice against South Alabama, bringing his season totals to 368 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns in only 4 games for the Black and Gold.
An excellent performance by Jalen, and just like that, another week, another A game. Be sure to check in next Monday, 8 o'clock, right here on App TV. I'm Austin Lopp.
And I'm Grace Salter, and thanks for watching. Remember, #Thomas for Heisman.